We're taking a journey with Jesus as we follow him all the way to the cross. Yesterday we celebrated Palm Sunday, the triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem, the holy city. We talked about how the masses were around him, the common folk singing his praises, Hosanna in the highest, save us. Save us, O God, and how they were expecting that he would save them by kicking out the Romans, by being the conqueror who would win the war and recapture the land and reestablish the kingdom of David. And now it's Monday. Now you need to know that the accounts of the week vary slightly in the four Gospels. Some of the events are told in multiple Gospels, some are told only in one, and some are told in different orders. And so we try to synthesize all four Gospels and come up with an order. On Monday, two main things happened. The most well-known is the cleansing of the temple. We'll get to that in a minute. The other is the fig tree. Jesus was staying in Bethany, and the trip from Bethany into Jerusalem involves going down a hill into a valley and coming back up into the holy city. And as he was walking along, he saw a fig tree from a distance. You can read the account as it's told in Matthew and Mark and Luke. And he thought he would go and grab a fig. And when he got to the tree, he discovered there were only leaves, no fruit. And so Jesus cursed the fig, saying, "May you never bear fruit again." And the fig tree withered. It dried right up, and the disciples were amazed. And later, when the story ends, he tells them that they could do the same thing and even more than that if they would have faith and not doubt and come to God in prayer. He was teaching us that the followers of Jesus must bear fruit in their lives. We must not only love God with our lips, we must love God with how we live our lives and how we reach out in love and compassion to the world around us. Jesus cleansing the temple is told in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. He overturned the tables of those who were there trying to profit. People from all over the country were coming for Passover. They needed to change their Roman coins into shekels to put in the offering plate in the temple. They had to make animal sacrifices, and pigeons were common, and so the pigeons were being sold. The problem was that the pigeons were being sold for more than they were worth. And there was an exorbitant rate charged to change the money into shekels. And it angered Jesus. And he said, "My house will be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves." Listen as we hear the story as Matthew tells it to us in the 11th chapter, beginning at verse 12. On the following day, the day after Sunday, when they came from Bethany, he was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to see whether perhaps he would find anything on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. He said to it, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard it. And when he came to Jerusalem, he entered the temple and began to drive out those who were selling and those who were buying in the temple. And he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. And he would not allow anyone to carry anything through the temple. He was teaching and saying, "Is it not written, 'My house shall be a house of prayer for all nations'? But you you have made it a den of thieves." And when the chief priests and the scribes heard it, they kept looking for a way to kill him, for they were afraid of him, because the whole crowd was spellbound by his teaching. And when evening came, Jesus and his disciples went out of the city. In the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree withered away to its roots. Then Peter remembered and said to him, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree that you cursed has withered." And Jesus answered them, "Have faith in God. Truly, I tell you, if you say to this mountain, 'Be taken up and thrown into the sea,' and if you do not doubt in your heart, but believe that what you say will come to pass, it will be done for you. For I tell you that whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Whenever you stand praying, forgive. And if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father in heaven may also forgive your trespasses." So on this Monday of Holy Week, we learn that we are expected as Christ followers to bear fruit in our lives, and that we have the power of God. If we have faith and come to God in prayer, we can accomplish more than we ever imagined we could accomplish. We learned that God's temple is for all nations, that is, all people, and that religion should never throw barriers on the way to God. That religion should clear the path so that people can come to God and grow closer to God. Let me close with this reading from the book Stages on the Way by the Okemos Community. It's entitled, "It Was on the Monday." It was on the Monday that religion got in the way. An outsider would have thought it was a pet shop's fire sale. And the outsider in some ways wouldn't have been far wrong. Only it wasn't household pets. It was pigeons that were being purchased. And it wasn't a fire sale. It was a rip-off stall in a holy temple, bartering birds for sacrifice. And the price was something that only the rich could afford. No discounts to students or pensioners or Social Security claimants. And then he, the holiest man on earth, went through this bizarre bazaar like a bull in a china shop. So the doves got liberated and the pigeon sellers got angry. The police went crazy and the poor people clapped like mad, because he was making a sign that God was for everybody. Not just for those who could afford him. He turned the tables on Monday, the day that religion got in the way.